Okay, welcome to the second of my videos for my van build, and today I'm going to kind of show you what we did for some of the electrical components in the van, switches, how we installed them, and things of that nature, and a few pointers and things that are specific to this Promaster platform. So anyway, in this video I'll show putting in these two switches. I didn't show it, but we also put a USB charge point up here while we had this all dismantled. And there is a switch on the dash here that was installed for lighting. And more importantly, this CAMS lead camera system. There's four cameras, one on either fender, one going forward that's behind the monitor, and one at the back. So anyway, I'll turn around here and start the vehicle. And you can see the monitor boot up here. Okay, so as you can see, this monitor, it's fairly clear, and it gives a good picture of you know, the sides of the vehicle. Of course, this is the driver's side and the passenger side, and then forward and back. Now, these two, I still have to figure out the programming so I can reverse them and change them in an order that they're both at the top. But anyway, just another thing that I have to do. So anyway, let's just take this and go for a little ride, and you can see how it operates. Yeah, so far I'm fairly happy with this system, which is nice because it took a considerable effort to actually install it into the dash. It was not easy by any means, but I guess most things aren't. So that's exactly where this falls into this category. As I mentioned before, this CAMS lead system does have the advantage of recording on an SD card, and it's in a 72-hour loop, so of course it refreshes itself and just records over its old data. Now, if you're wondering, you are on a tripod, so it's not like I'm hand-holding you here or anything of that nature, so safe driving practices are being maintained. And as I mentioned, here's the switch that I put in earlier, and I don't know if you can see it here. Where are we? Yeah, right up here are the two switches for the lighting for the light bars, and there's also a USB charge point up above. Okay guys, well, I hope that the following video will maybe give you some inspiration or totally steer you in a different direction or whatever, but I like this system, especially for the size of the vehicle. These Promasters are not small by any means, and you know, having the extra eyes on either side is definitely a benefit. So anyway, we will continue on by proceeding into the video, and I'll give you a little show of how we did this. What we're going to do is put cameras. They go on the side so that you have a side view. So now I'm going to put one on either side, and this is the stuff they don't show you. In doing this, this is what it has resulted in. When they installed the stereo in this vehicle, it's a 2020, I guess they weren't noticing that one of the tabs wasn't lining up. So on the inside, there are connection points, and you're supposed to use a wire to release them, and the one wouldn't release. So we actually had to go into and see a stereo installer to have him take it out, and it was quite the project. So now that the stereo was out, it allowed us to take out the headliner, and we took the seat out also because it allowed us access to different places. And anyway, this monitor is attached to a hard piece of plastic that in these Promasters is actually a clipboard that they have built in. It's not that functional. I guess it just holds paper. But anyway, that's what we took it out and attached everything that we needed to onto that surface, and then we reinstalled it. So to install these cameras, we had to remove the headlight and get into this area in here, and it was very tight. And to say that we had an inch of clearance to feed the wires, that would be generous. So that's how we had to put it in. Oh! Yeah. Family. What a sense of humor. Okay, Randy, you got to tell me why this doesn't bother you.
Not my van.
I've heard that so many times. Not my van. Okay, so here's the van. And what we've done is I put in these cameras that will give me a look on either side of the van. And yeah, they go on both sides here. So, with a little creative editing, what you can see is we're all back together, headlights are in, and everything's looking good. So let's go inside, and I'll let you know about a few things that you might not be aware of. In particular, the glove box on this passenger side of the van. When you take the liner out, you have access to the strut tower. And what we have done is we have laid 150 feet of AV cable underneath this location. It's 4 lines in total, and they're 45 feet apiece. And at this point, all we had to do was put in the cable for the rear camera, and we would be all done. Now, other than that, what we also run into was in the passenger side, beside the seat in the pillar, there is something called an upfitter module in this area. Now, this upfitter module was something that was sold to us or promoted by the dealership, and it's for adding extra features to the vehicle, and it came with a wiring harness. Now, we couldn't find any information on it, and when we did find it, it was very vague. And there was no visible place that we could attach this cable or connector. So we went to a couple dealerships where we were, and they had no idea what the heck we were talking about. And even when they put in the number for the part that we had, they had no reference for it. So as it turns out, there are only select places that deal with these upfitter components. It's for like snow plows and whatever type of thing you want to add to these vehicles. And it did not serve our purpose other than, you can see the red cable here. That comes right from the battery. There's a positive and a ground in here. And what we did was we took it and we used welding cable joiners, and we extended this cable up the side beam and along the sliding door above it and to the back, where it would be used for a DC to DC charger in the compartment that we were going to house all the solar. So I guess at the end of the day, it didn't turn out too bad, but we did tear this van apart, and you can see that up above in the headliner there's wires hanging down, and one of them was actually for a USB charge point so that I could have stuff close at hand that needed to be charged and accessible. Okay, so let's talk about electricity. Now, I'm going to start by saying that nothing that you're going to see here is anything that is a knowledge of mine. It was my brother's doing all this electrical, and without him I wouldn't have been able to pull this build off. So having said that, please consult a professional if you have any doubts about your abilities, process, or you know, how things work. What I can tell you is that before you do anything, disconnect that battery, because there are airbags in the pillars, seats, like even removing the seat. You know, anything that could accidentally trip these emergency features through electricity, you're better off having this battery system, you know, disconnected from the power source. So anyway, other than that, you know, I don't think you need to know about every thing that we did, other than be clean. And in our situation, everything that we did was wire loomed. Any friction points were protected, the wires were protected, and you know, we did our best to secure and stabilize everything and be neat, because you know, it'll only bite you in the end if you don't, because you're going to come back and have problems. And whether we were working with electrical or in the van or under the van, everything was secured with these clamps that have the rubber on them, and secured, and everything was wire loomed, as I said, and shrink wrapped so that no exposed metal was going to short out anywhere. So yeah, that's about the only thing that I can say in that regard. Like this vehicle, we pulled in excess of 800 feet of wire to make this vehicle into what we wanted. And the biggest part of it was just being very fastidious about how you do things, and don't rush it, don't take any shortcuts, because you know, once you get everything closed in, you're committed. And even in the case of places that you may see that in looking at these pictures, that it doesn't look like they're being supported, we knew there were areas that I could spray foam later, and I would create slack in the wire when there was a gang of wires together, and I always tried to keep them from being able to move. That might create a problem in itself, but rubbing shouldn't be one of them. So anyway, be very conscious of that, and it will, you know, you'll be a lot better off for it. Okay. Now, having said that, it's not that we didn't have fun in what we were doing, and it was actually a running joke that you know, we'd be looking at stuff, and there was a lot of different lighting things and switches and that we had fun with, and so you know, let's go and check that out. A couple of little things that I did, and how we went about them, and they were basically you know, just having fun and making things entertaining for ourselves. So that'll be what's in the next clip here. Okay, here's a little idea that we're doing. This is, if you can see it, these are box liners for half-ton trucks. They're two 5-foot pieces of LED lighting. Now what we're going to do is, I have cut wood. It has a 3M on the back side of the lighting. I'm going to attach that to a piece of wood, thin piece of wood, and then we have bought tubing, and we're going to insert it in the tubing so that we have protective lighting. So anyway, we're going to do this, and I have, you can see this one's very unflexible right now. We did just do one. We're warming one up just to see how it's going to work. With a little space heater, but anyway, we're gonna proceed with this. We've already done the one, and these are going to go underneath the vehicle for under vehicle lighting. So anyway, stay tuned, and we will show you how this turns out. So that's what we're up to. Okay, here we are. We're going to install a switch in the dash. Not for the faint of heart. It's only a dash.
Not my dash.
Not my dash. Brand new vehicle. Yeah, don't touch the blade. So at this point of the install, when my brother turned this torch off, we could all of a sudden hear the music in the background, and well, you know how copyright infringement goes. So anyway, what we did was we just cleaned up this area, did a final filing, and we installed this neat little switch into the dash, and it was just a matter of, like I say, cleaning it up and doing it. It was a little nerve-wracking. Well, not for me, maybe, and maybe not from him. But anyway, yeah, and the torch, as you can see, it was held, it wasn't going to fall. We were very conscious of that before we even started. So anyway, you might be asking yourself, why a zombie switch? Well, there's a couple of reasons, and the main one being that I've got grandchildren, and my grandson, when he first saw the van, I knew he'd be checking everything out. You know how kids are, touching everything and such. But anyway, he was checking everything out, and he was eyeballing this switch. And, Papa, how come you got a zombie light switch? Well, you should have seen the look on his face when I told him that zombies hide under the van. Well, that was just the beginning of lots of fun we had. As he continued on, he also found one that was a Sasquatch. So anyway, we got a couple of good laughs out of that. And the only thing is that there's one that he hasn't found yet. Well, I might have to do a little explaining with that one. But at any rate, this is just some of the stuff that you can do to entertain yourself while you're doing a build, and make it fun for yourself. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show some final pictures of these switches being used and what they do, and hopefully you'll join us for our next van build video. Stay safe, and don't take any unnecessary risks in your build, and hopefully it turns out good. Anyway, take care, folks, and we'll talk to you later.